There once was a CIA program researching the possibility of psychics between 1978 and 1995. When I myself think of the possibility of psychics combined with the history of human nature, I automatically take into consideration the literal witch hunts of the past, and also the X-Men movies come to mind. In X-Men, the moment attention was brought to their existence, attempts to neutralize them had begun, with everything from forced medication all the way down to outright extermination. In the case of witches, they were imprisoned, went through enhanced interrogation to force a confession, and eventually elimination altogether by way of either rope, water, fire, the weight of stone, etc. That sadistic list of creativity goes on, which is far beyond unfortunate, more so than you nor I, hopefully, could ever understand. The Stargate Project, shrouded in secrecy, was a covert undertaking initiated in 1978 within the confines of Fort Meade, Maryland. It was a joint effort between the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, and California-based contractor SRI International. Its mission? To explore the potential application of psychic phenomena in both military and domestic intelligence operations. The primary focus of the Stargate project centered around a practice known as remote viewing, where individuals purportedly possess the ability to perceive events, locations, or information from considerable distances using psychic means. This initiative was under the watchful eye of Lieutenant Frederick Holmes Skip Atwater, who also served as a psychic headhunter for Major General Albert Stubblebine. Later, Atwater became the president of the Monroe Institute, the world's leading education center for the study of human consciousness, according to their website. I'm curious as to what exactly they mean when using the term headhunter, as opposed to just a regular hunter, or even a scout, as one might do when searching for potential talent to recruit. Headhunter conjures up the image of a no-nonsense warrior with the worst of intentions for the ops, as the kids say these days. I'll just say enemy. The unit was small-scale, comprising about 15 to 20 individuals, and was run out of an old, leaky wooden barracks. How much did this cost? In those 17 years, it took the CIA and the DIA to determine if certain people could see with their mind other certain people, places, things near and far. It would cost $20 million. However, we do not know if inflation was taken into account. $1 million today was worth $2 million in 1995 and $4.7 million in 1978. If inflation wasn't taken into consideration, then the number was much higher, but we don't know how much was distributed each year. Apparently, various programs were approved yearly and refunded accordingly. Many don't believe in extrasensory perception beyond the 5 senses we were told to have in elementary school. The logic behind that is that we would all know it because we would all have the same thing. Then there's the fact that even our known senses such as sight and hearing are often found to be imperfect. Some people are completely deaf or blind, even though they have most of the biological equipment to see and hear. Yet something is off. Some people are partially blind in one or both eyes and need glasses. Other people are partially deaf in one or both ears and need hearing aids. The partially impaired have those senses, but they're not always reliable depending on the circumstances. Consider this: many can see just fine, but not in the dark. Many can hear just fine if it's not overwhelmingly noisy. Certain circumstances can prevent us from using the senses that we know we have, and that's what determines if we can use them accurately. If people with extrasensory perception were real and aware that they had ESP, explaining it to someone who doesn't would probably be like explaining colors to the colorblind. Stop and take a moment to think how you yourself would explain to 30 colorblind people in a room full of artwork painted by Van Gogh all the colors in each painting without looking insane to each of those 30 people. Now imagine that those people are authority figures, and your freedom or maybe even your life is on the line. No worries. Though difficult to explain, there would in fact be a way to prove that you could actually see color, even though the other 30 are incapable of such. But even if you do, you inherit a whole other set of problems like their unrelenting curiosity, possibly fear, paranoia, jealousy, envy, and probably hatred from those 30 people, all compounding into a desire to regulate and control you that much more, because that's just how humans are. Here's another thing to consider in this scenario. What if you yourself didn't know, understand, or believe what colors are? Now there are 31 people in the room who think you're insane or to switch it up. What if you didn't know, understand, or believe in what colors are, but the other 30 authority figures in the room knew exactly what was going on with you? All this came to mind after my research about the CIA-led Stargate program. The Stargate project was terminated and declassified in 1995, after a CIA report concluded that it was never useful in any intelligence operation. And we all know how much the intelligence community loves transparency when it comes to their intelligence gathering techniques, when the actual information provided by the program was vague and included irrelevant and erroneous data, and there were suspicions of interjudge reliability. The program was featured in the 2004 book and 2009 film, both titled The Men Who Stare at Goats, although neither mentions it by name. I highly recommend watching the movie, which is available on YouTube for free, October 10th, 2023. The movie actually begins with a man unaliving a hamster by only using his mind. The man's not the hamster. And that's why they were staring at the goats, which is what you will not find in most general articles about Project Stargate, but telekinesis, controlling matter without physically touching it, would naturally be of the highest interest when it comes to communities such as the CIA, especially if it could be utilized as means to bring someone's existence to an abrupt, untraceable end. What I do know is, they have a problem with people not part of their community being armed with anything from firearms to nunchucks, so one can imagine how well the idea of people outside of their community even being aware of the possibility that they could develop or unlock the ability of telekinesis or even remote viewing. That reminds me of the X-Men series, where certain factions of the population wanted to hunt and neutralize mutants, or how humanity has treated real people believed to be sorcerers and witches. The most concerning factor when it comes to the whole telekinetic life deletion is, even if you could find someone to succeed, then what? How does one conduct themselves knowing that the person you're dealing with is capable of such things? Not only capable physically, but capable psychologically. Who wants to be responsible for the death of another living creature for the sole purpose of finding out if it's possible? It's disturbing. Would you use a knife on someone just to see if you could? If the answer is yes, then you're a psychopath. Stir in some random psychic abilities, and we have a recipe for 5-star nightmares. This is why I mentioned earlier how it struck me as odd when Skip was referred to as a psychic headhunter. I'm even more baffled now more than ever. Was he a headhunter of psychics, or was he a psychic that was a headhunter in general? I have so many questions. I don't know if psychics are real or not, but if they are, they should probably be quiet about it when considering our history with witches and human guinea pigs. Not should they, but I imagine the powers that be would also. How many super-secret weapons do they just come out and admit to, unless they were caught red-handed, and sometimes even then, they don't like to admit things for whatever the reasons may be. Big shout out to Annie Jacobson, author of the book Phenomena, The Secret History of the US Government's Investigations into Extrasensory Perception and Psychokinesis, which goes into great detail about this program. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and if you would like to make a monetary contribution to my channel, my cash tag is $Feral Aero. A great day.